live stream. Let some people fill out here. Kind of get in here, get rolling, get seeing who wants to come hang out tonight. Kind of vibing on this lunchtime thing, man. It's not bad. It's kind of chill, right? So we got big news today, boys. Roster cuts. Lions cutting that roster. Needed to be 53, and we're down to 52. Cut down to 52, which means we're leaving spots because there's one room in particular that we're real light on, and we need to address that. But I got a couple of guys and we need to target for that. 2 guys in particular, and we'll discuss that when we get in there. Try and see if anybody wants to hang out, fill in before we get too far into it. But if you're watching this post live stream, I really, really, really appreciate it because it's kind of what we're going for. So, you know. All right. Hey, we got one person hanging out. What's up, one person? We're just kind of waiting to see if people fill out a little bit. Go ahead and, if you want, go ahead and hit like for me. That'd be awesome. Maybe drop a comment, say what's up. Getting ready to eat a little lunch here. There we go. Pop that open. Let's see what Hat and Boobs made for me today, huh? I already know what it is. I'm super excited about it. Bam! There it is. Little taco bake action, and you know, normally it's made with like a ground beef or like a ground turkey or something, but recently I've been batch grilling stuff, and there's been like batch grilling up chicken and stuff. So this is made with grilled chicken, and then she made afterwards. Apparently I bored that individual, so hey, look at us go. That's fine. We're more so here for recording stuff for y'all to watch afterwards, really. I mean, the live stream's fun, and it kind of lets me just flow a little bit, like, unfiltered. Not having to, like, take takes and stuff. So whatever I say is what I say, and that's kind of how it's gonna... There's not much, you know, taking it back, right? A little bit less polished, but a little bit more raw and authentic, you know? So if you're new here, appreciate it. Got a couple people hanging out. Right on, a couple people hanging out. Give me a solid if you're into this type of thing. Here, go ahead and hit like. We're just giving it a couple minutes for see if anybody else wants to hang out while I get my lunch ready. Is everybody having a good day so far? Chat, you having a good day? Go ahead and comment down below if you're having an alright day. I don't mind. What do we got here? Some rice, some corn, some black beans, some cheese, some grilled chicken. It's like some kind of pepper action of some type. I don't know. Look, all I know is that she makes it, and I tell her if I like it or not. And if I like it, then she'll make more of it for me. And if I don't, then, well, it's not that she doesn't make it, but it then typically gets pulled out of rotation. You know what I'm saying? Right on. A couple minutes in here. Appreciate the like. So, with this sandwich or this lunch finish up here, and then we'll, while it's cooling, the discussion today was the day we had to cut down the roster to 53. Couple of surprises, couple of big wins for me. Both there were 2 players that I really was hoping would make the roster, one on offense and one on defense, and they both did. Hey, just you know, it's kind of hard to ignore what I've seen on the field, the productivity, the ball playerness. There's guys out there balling, right? And it's hard to cut guys when they're out there balling and balling well too, like really producing, really performing, you know. It's kind of mixed up a little bit more here. That rice good mixed up in there. And you know, for those of you who are like trying to figure out how to save a couple of bucks, dude, look, man. I used to be that guy that was like eating out like every day for lunch, right? You know, going out on lunch break, grabbing some fast food bullshit, and like, for one, that shit is like way bad for you. It's like so bad for you, dude. You really shouldn't be eating that type of like barely even food. I mean, it's practically like masticated food that then is like reformed and colored, and then you consume it, and you wonder why we're all sick as hell as a human race. But Also, it's stupid to just like waste your money on that kind of stuff. Like, I know there's that whole argument of like eating healthy is expensive and whatever. It's like, yeah, the upfront cost is a little bit more, but the overall value, both in like the long-term benefits on your body and bank account, is like totally worth it, right? Like, it's so much worth it than like going to fucking Burger King and getting a slop whopper of some type that then is just going to give you indigestion, and you're just going to be like miserable the rest of the damn day, right? Like, those of you who are under 30, you probably still can do that and not have your guts be all fucked up, but like, Jesus Christ, man. Just like, dude, just talking about Burger King gave me a little bit of like little acid reflux up in there, just the thought of it, right? And like, I like Burger King, but then for one, it's really bad for you, and two, they're woke as hell, and I don't like to give my money to companies that actively hate me. But so like, just save some money, dude, and learn how to like meal prep, dude. Like, if you really want to make like a thing of it, dude. Like, on like my nights off, like if I got like a Sunday night off, right? Like, we'll pick a dinner, because I like to grill on my nights off, right? I like to kind of, put cold meat on some hot metal and call it cooking. But just take and like grab yourself like what do we do this weekend? All right, so Sunday night we did. Oh, because yeah, Sunday was the only night I had off, right? So like, real quick sidebar. I don't eat a lot of pork. I eat like very little pork. That shit's like really bad for you, right? It's like really, really unhealthy for you, and but I will like I can't not eat like really good ribs. I'll eat those once in a while, or like pulled pork, or like I really love Polish sausages. And for whatever reason, Hat and Boobs was like, I want Polish sausages Sunday night for dinner. So I was like, bet. All right. So what we did was we got some Polish sausages, grilled those up for dinner. But then simultaneously while I'm at it, just go ahead and throw a couple of chicken tits on that grill, dude, and like prep them out for the week. Like, meal prep them out, because not only is grilled meat far superior to any other form of meat, other than like, I mean, maybe like smoked meat, but then we're just kind of splitting hairs, right? But like grilled meat, and it cooks all the fat off it. You get that real good flavor. And if we're grilling, we're talking grilling with gas, or grilling with charcoal, not grilling with gas. We ain't doing that bullshit around here. We need full flavor grilled action up in here where we're at. So cool too, you hung out. I appreciate you sticking around. There's a few other people in here that I kind of bored them with my nonsense and yammering, but hey, I appreciate you guys sticking around while we kind of get through the slog and the slop content that I generate for y'all. Just the ramblings of a crazy person. So, all right, I got some sour cream in here, a little mixed up. Let that cool down a little bit. So, let's talk about some roster moves for the Detroit Lions. Get my little notepad out here, because I was barely born in the 80s, but I was born in 88, so I had to go to school in the 90s, and I learned to write things down, and I don't understand how the youngins do like I can't do like notes on my laptop, man. I gotta like write it down. It's way easier for me to write down, even though I got like trash can handwriting. But so we're gonna go through kind of position rooms and the cuts that were made. We're not necessarily gonna say all the players that were cut. We're just gonna talk a little bit about it. This is gonna be kind of a quick rundown, not a real in-depth analysis. So we're gonna start off number one spot here with the QB room. We had 4 quarterbacks on roster heading into training camp, all through training camp. Actually, we had 3, and then we brought in Jake Fromm once after the Giants game, when Nate Sudfeld just played like absolute dog shit. And in total transparency, like, it is almost a fault that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are like so loyal to their guys, because we all collectively knew within the first 10 minutes of the Giants game that Sudfeld was not going to be that guy. He was not going to be the guy to back up Jared Goff going through the entire season. We all knew that, and especially when Hendon Hooker came in and showed flashes against the Giants game. Yeah, he got that concussion, but he showed flashes. Then he continued. I feel like the fan base with Hendon Hooker is like super duper split on whether they like him and think he's developing, or whether they think he's not where he should be, which I don't understand how he can't be where he should be. He missed like all of fucking last season, right? So it was all a cerebral development game for him last year. Now he's getting into the physicality, learning the mechanics, and understanding Ben Johnson's offense, which can be a huge detriment if Ben Johnson goes somewhere else, because he's going to have to relearn something else all entirely again. But we ended up cutting Sudfeld and Jake Fromm, and I would imagine that Fromm will be oh man, my pen is falling apart here. Fromm will probably be a practice squad guy for the Lions. I just... Like, what benefit does Sudfeld bring you having him on the roster, even in the practice squad, right? He's trash, dude. Yeah, he can throw a ball real far. Cool, dude. Go be a junior varsity quarterback coach somewhere, man. Like, I don't care. So we kept 2 quarterbacks. We kept Hendon Hooker and Jared Goff. You expect to see probably a Fromm, it may be a Sudfeld, but probably Fromm get brought back onto the practice squad because he did, he's not terrible, but he can, we'll give you a decent competition. It also opens up now Hooker to get all of the second team reps in practice and even some Skelly team reps in practice to continue his development with both learning the offense and the speed of the league, which he at times, I will admit, did struggle with some of his reads, but he relied more on his athleticism to bail him out of sticky situations, which, when you're young, you can do that. But eventually, if you want to have a long tenured career, that's not necessarily how you're going to be able to make a living. You're going to have to learn how to throw, which he does put a nice spin on the ball. I don't have anything against Hendon Hooker. I think his development's right where it should be. I think he's plugging away nicely. Next, we're going to talk about the running back room. We ended up keeping 4 running backs, and absolutely none of them were a surprise to us, right? Monty, Gibbs, Craig Reynolds, and Sione Vaki. All 4 of those guys made the roster. I didn't think Bam Knight was going to make it. I think his attitude's a little trash. Jake Funk is not athletic enough to make the roster. And Jamar Jefferson, it's just time to move on. It's just maybe go to another organization. I don't know, man, but I just don't think Jamar Jefferson has what it takes to make it for the Detroit Lions. I'm not saying he can't make it in the league in some capacity, but I just don't think he's overall that good. We know we're getting out of Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be dealing with a hamstring a little bit, which historically hamstring injuries kind of tend to be a nagging situation moving through the whole season. So what I'm actually expecting, knowing that there's a hamstring injury, and I know that we're kind of downplaying it, and we've seen him in practice, being able to get out there and run some routes and stuff and be explosive, but hamstring injuries tend to hamper productivity through the whole season. So I would actually tend to taper down my expectations of what Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be able to do, and I would put a larger productivity count, both touches and yardage and touchdowns. Overall productivity, I think David Montgomery will be the more productive back this year than Jahmyr Gibbs, solely based on the possibility of a nagging hamstring injury really holding him back from reaching that ceiling that he should be hitting this year. We can also play into the sophomore slump narrative if we really wanted to. We know we get out of Craig Reynolds. He's a solid guy, not who you want to see being your starting running back for more than a few quarters of a game. I don't think you really want to be running into a game where Monty and Gibbs are both out and you're expecting Craig to be a 20-plus touch type guy. Although I think he'd be willing to do it, I just don't think he would be as productive as, say, a Monty or a Jahmyr Gibbs. And then, of course, dude, so post-draft, I was a little confused about the Sione Vaki, what we were going to do with him. Was he going to be a safety? Was he going to be a special teams contributor? Was he going to be integrated into the offense in some capacity? And I got to tell you, man, watching Sione Vaki play in the preseason, that guy knows ball, and he knows how to play ball really well. He's going to be a huge asset for the Detroit Lions, both offensively and in special teams wise. I think you could see him kind of work his way into a third down running back type role, mostly because I think he's athletic and runs with power similar to David Montgomery, but has more of a speed option than David Montgomery, similar to a Jahmyr Gibbs. I like to think of Sione Vaki as a nice little hybrid between the two, mostly with his speed matching Montgomery's athleticism. He's a nice complementary back to the two of them. So what I would expect is by the middle of the season, I would expect Sione Vaki to overtake Craig Reynolds in that third running back spot and getting a lot of run on third downs, maybe even some packages designed for him, as well as being a contributor on special teams. The third room we're going to look at offensively, we're going to look at the wide receiver room, and this is where things get a little squirrely for the Detroit Lions. Now, as much as people like to say we lost a big-bodied wide receiver, hang on, we got a chat here. Multiple sources say we picked up Tim Patrick! Yes, dude! Yes! Dude! Fuck yes! That is my guy! Fireball Tim Patrick! Fuck yes! Literally who we were going to talk about. I have right here. 4 wide receivers look to add through waivers. Noah Brown or Tim Patrick. If Tim Patrick can be healthy, Tim Patrick has a really high ceiling. He is Fireball Tim Patrick. He's big, dude. He's a big body wide receiver. He's fast. He's athletic. Imagine taking the build of a little bit thicker frame, similar to Donovan Peoples-Jones, and putting on a slightly taller frame like a Josh Reynolds, right? He's kind of a hybrid between the two of them. I love this news. That is awesome. Appreciate it. Let's see if I can pull that up so I can give you a mad shout out here. Live chat. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Lou Bega. Multiple sources saying we picked up Tim Patrick from Denver. 6'5", 215. He's 57. Oh, damn it, dude. I'm sorry. Hang on. I'm trying to. This is all new to me, bro. My fucked up my knee. I'm more likely and better. Yeah, okay, you're probably right, dude. Lou Bega, you're probably right. He does have some knee issues. But here's the thing. He doesn't have to be our number one guy. He doesn't have to be our number two guy. He has to be a /3 wide receiver. What do I mean by /3 wide receiver? You're going to have a rotation of the smaller bodied guys because we kept 4 wide receivers. Obviously, we kept Amon-Ra and J-Mo. That was a no-brainer. We kept Khalif Raymond because we did sign him in the offseason to not a long-term, but a contract extension. He's kind of been a Brad Holmes guy, and he's been the opportunities Khalif Raymond has been given, he's taken advantage of. The 4th wide receiver that we kept, though, had an uphill battle. Dan Campbell had said that he didn't expect, not that he didn't expect, but it was hard to really put a good argument out for Isaiah Williams. Now, I mean, his productivity was there all preseason, but when you have 4 wide receivers who are all of the similar build, who's going to be your big body guy? And we're like, okay, well, Sam Laporta. But if you go after and you get a Tim Patrick, a fireball Tim Patrick, who becomes more of a red zone threat, a big-bodied wide receiver with a decent vertical. I know Lou Bega, his knees are fucked, but we're not asking him to be that guy. We're asking him to have, 3 targets a game? 3 targets a game, 2 of them in the red zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tim Patrick, I think, is a solid guy. I wasn't really high on the Noah Brown. He was just kind of the hot name, and I kind of was hoping that we'd go after Fireball Tim Patrick. So if that's true, I am absolutely in love with that signing, with the Tim Patrick signing. I think that is a huge boon to our offense, taking a little bit of pressure off the smaller guys, giving another big body so that we don't have to rely on Sam Laporta. We can use him as a more of a specialty type player. For sure, red zone option. That's what I'm saying, dude. When you got 6'5", it's hard to not just kind of, let Jared Goff throw one of them rubber duckies up there and let him go grab it. So that I love to see. Lou Bega, my guy. Serious, big props. Lou Bega. Bro, that is awesome, dude. Thank you for breaking that news because I for real had right here on my notes Tim Patrick being a guy that we needed to go after. And that just tickles my pickle all the way. Dude, for real, all the way home. I'm so happy that if that is the thing. Just give him a shot. Just give Fireball Tim Patrick a shot. I think he'll be more productive than, say, Donovan Peoples-Jones. And Donovan Peoples-Jones, man, you hate to see it because he's a Michigan guy. He's from the area. We did trade to get him, to bring him in from the Browns. And you kind of thought that maybe the productivity was going to be there. And during the Pittsburgh game, he lined up in the wrong spot, and I watched him have to burn a timeout. And that was early on because I hadn't left for work yet. I looked at Hat and Boobs and I went, they're going to cut him. That right there, Donovan Peoples-Jones is not going to be able to recover from that, and they're going to they're going to cut him because of that play right there. You can't cost your team timeouts like that in situations like that where you're trailing, trying to come back, build from behind, and just line up in bad spots. Those are mistakes that we can't allow to have happen. You have all training camp to know where you need to line up, bro. You've been doing this now for multiple weeks. You should have known this by now. And you dropped the ball. His productivity wasn't there. Fountain's productivity wasn't there. And Isaiah Williams, the thing with Isaiah Williams is you just couldn't, you can't deny the guy's athleticism. Excuse me, pardon me. You can't deny Isaiah Williams' athleticism. He's a ball player. He was given the smallest opportunity, an undrafted rookie free agent, and he made every single ounce, every millimeter, every bit of that opportunity. He made every single bit of it count. Every single bit of it count, whether it be running routes, blocking downfield, making athletic catches for being a smaller wide receiver, and then also he brings an element in the return game. So I'm so happy to see Isaiah Williams make the roster. That was one of my guys that I wanted to see make this roster. So moving from wide receiver now let's head into the tight end room. We ended up keeping 3 tight ends. Obviously we knew it was going to be Laporta. We matched the offer sheet from the San Francisco 49ers to keep Brock Wright in-house, which I'm a big Brock Wright fan. If I'm being completely honest, before we drafted Sam Laporta, I kind of expected Brock Wright to be a ascending asset for the Detroit Lions, really start to become more of a actual name tight end in the NFL. Then we drafted Laporta. The rest is history. Historic rookie season. Not mad at all about that. Love me some Sam Laporta. I actually have a Sam Laporta shirt that I wear. But we have a real solid 1-2 punch with Brock Wright and Sam Laporta. The question was, who's going to be that number 3 wide receiver spot? Was it going to be James Mitchell, who dropped a not necessarily perfect pass against Dallas in week 16, 15, 16 last year, you know what I'm saying? Was it going to be Shane Zylstra? Was Shane Zylstra going to be athletic enough? Was he going to be able to come back from the knee injury from last year? Was he going to put up enough on tape to let us, really confirm that he's going to be our number 3 wide receiver or number 3 tight end? Both of those guys got the axe, and we ended up keeping was Hesse, number 43. The dude's built like a fullback playing tight end, which is kind of why we ended up keeping him, because he's more of a hybrid style player. Multiple positions with the Detroit Lions, especially when you get into more of the athletic, multi-dimensional spots, not your specialty players, not your wide receivers or running backs, but your tight ends, especially your defensive ends. We like to have guys who are hybrid, who can play kind of do multiple things, right? Where Hesse can play both fullback and tight end. And he's also, like, I'm gonna be honest, the dude is a fucking brick wall. He's a great run blocker. He is a huge asset to have when you're going to be a team that relies more on a running back, a ground game in the NFL, which we're probably poised to do with Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, take a little bit of pressure off of Jared Goff, right? It gives you another asset to help move the line of scrimmage or set an edge for those guys to be able to get up, in, and around. You can also drop them back into an I formation. It's a nice hybrid spot. I like that we ended up keeping Hesse. Offensive line, real simple. We're just going to kind of graze through that. We kept all the big five starters. Then we kept obviously Dan Skipper, your friendly neighborhood Dan Skipper, Awasoka, the guard, Colby Sorsdal. I think we kept the one center, but we also then kept Giovanni Manu. Look, I know the guy's raw, but I think if you polish Manu a little bit, he can be something pretty solid in the league. I think it'd be kind of nice to see maybe, Manu kind of overtake Dan Skipper as that eligible tight end spot. Can we say that Tim Patrick makes up for the forgettable Trinity Benson era? Yo, all it's going to take is one catch. One catch, and we'll forget all about Trinity Benson, bro. Trinity Benson. Dude, I haven't thought about that cat in a while. Trinity Benson, when you say that, it makes me think of guys like Quintez Cephas. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, man, Trinity Benson. Yeah, so it'll take one catch. How's this? One touchdown, one red zone touchdown out of Fireball Tim Patrick, and Trinity Benson, I won't even mention his name ever again. How's that? So the big five, yeah, we talked about the O-line. Really not a lot of surprise there. I would like to see Manu Ginobili. I keep calling him Manu Ginobili, dude. I have called Giovanni Manu Ginobili both on this channel and in personal life like probably 4 dozen times. So Giovanni Manu, I would like to see take over that eligible tight end or eligible receiver role that Dan Skipper kind of played last year. I think that his athleticism is there, and it also gives him more reps, more exposure, more development in the league as you push to probably move him. What I'd probably end up seeing is that as Decker's contract starts to phase out, that you're going to see Manu and Penei Sewell possibly switch spots. I've done that a handful of times as well. Dude, right? Yeah, Ginobili for the win. Yeah, dude, it's like, for some reason, I'm guessing you probably grew up about the same time era as me, right? Like, Manu Ginobili, like, that name just, like, sticks in my head whenever I talk about Giovanni Manu. That fucking dickhead from the Spurs, dude. Crack a beer, you might get that Manu thing right. Hey, man, I would, but I'm at work right now, so I'll definitely crack one later tonight. How's that, brother? How's that? We'll definitely have a beer later tonight. Let's talk about D-line. There was one position that I wasn't necessarily sold on, and I'm going to be honest, y'all call me a hater, whatever. I'm not too sold on James Houston. I'm not, dude. I'm not. I haven't seen... Yes, whoop-de-doo, his rookie year, he had, half a dozen sacks in as many games? Cool. What have you done for me lately? You haven't produced in the preseason. You missed all last year, which is not a fault of your own. We're not going to fault guys for injuries, right? We don't fault guys for injuries on this channel. But what did you do in the preseason? Not shit, man. And you let guys like Okuwu go? I hate to say it, I would have kept Betts over James Houston. And Betts didn't even play that great. maybe the coaching staff has plans for him. Obviously, he is the most one trick ponies. Streaming at work about the Lions, fucking awesome. Yeah, let's call it an extended lunch break. I just don't think that one trick that James Houston does. Shout out, by the way, I do appreciate that. I don't think that one trick that James Houston does is all that great. I don't think he's all that great at it. Like, cool, you can go to a county fair and watch him do tricks, but you don't want to see him on the big screen, like, trying to carry a movie, right? Like, maybe a few rotationary plays here or there. I just don't see him being that guy, man. I just don't see him being that guy. And now there's a lot of pressure on him. He's going to be your rotationary defensive end behind what? You're going to have Pascal and Davenport make up one end, and then obviously Aiden Hutchinson. So you're expecting now James Houston to be a rotationary guy to give those guys a blow and put consistent pressure on offensive line or on quarterbacks by pushing the offensive line. What is he, a speed rusher? Is he a power rusher? He's too slow to be a speed rusher and not strong enough to be a power rusher. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Maybe the coaching staff knows something I don't, but I'm not too sold on the James Houston retention. I would have rather have kept Ukuwu or even Matayo Betts. That's just me. I would have definitely kept Ukuwu. We did keep John Kaminsky though, probably as more of a, because let's be honest, I'm pretty sure his season's completely done. I mean, you don't really come back from a MCL injury mid-season, so I'm imagining they're keeping him on the roster so he can trigger certain bonuses and benefits provided by the NFL for his rehabilitation. But probably look to see maybe a droppage there. Maybe they go after somebody on the waiver wires to bolster that rush edge spot, because I mean Pascal has been more productive, but I'm just not sold on James Houston. I haven't been sold on James Houston. I haven't been sold on James Houston since week 1 last year when I seen him out in coverage, and I was like, why is James Houston out in coverage? Cut and Martin injured, and with DJ Reader only now practicing. Where's the beef in the D? Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. That Broderick Martin injury really kind of freaked me out. I'm pretty sure that Payco's going to clear waivers. I think you'll see there's too many teams with too many needs elsewhere for Payco to really. He'll probably slide under the radar. I would hope he slides under the radar and we're able to nab him back up, because yeah, we have no. Wingo will play. You think Wingo will play week 1? Yeah, I'm going to be honest, man. I don't think you're that far off. I actually think Mekhi Wingo, well, playing and starting is entirely different things. Mekhi Wingo will work his way into a higher rotational role. I don't think he'll be starting week 1. But, you know, when you watch Wingo play, am I wrong that Mekhi Wingo seems special? Like, he has, like, a burst. He's got kind of a punch. He's got kind of a nasty streak to him, right? Like, I'm not saying he's going to be Aaron Donald, but, like, doesn't he seem like he's kind of got that it factor? We're going to be a monster. Exactly. And imagine, like, maybe not this year, but next offseason he develops his body, goes through that Aleem McNeil, Broderick Martin transformation where maybe instead of cutting weight, he adds a couple of pounds. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you get him to get up to that 300-pound marker, but he can still move the way that he does. He's like a fucking cannonball, dude. He's going to prove he should have been drafted. I agree. I think I said early on that Mekhi Wingo might have been one of the steals. Actually, I thought it was Christian Mahogany as well, and he's loco. But I think Wingo has the potential to be a very good player. Not just some guy, right? Not just some dude, but a very good player in the NFL for many, many years. I'm not saying a real long-term career, but one of those guys who, like, for like 3 to 5 years is just highly contributing to whatever team he's on. Yeah, he's probably not going to hit double-digit sacks, but we're talking like a good run defender, getting a lot of TFLs, getting a lot of gang tackles right in the middle, maybe hitting like that 7.5 to 9.5 sacks a year type dude. I think he complements Aiden Hutchinson a little bit because he's a little bit stockier, a little bit more powerful. Not as big as DJ Reader, but probably more agile, more mobile than Aleem McNeil. You know what I'm saying? So I love the Mekhi Wingo. If this season, if Mekhi Wingo, is it Keitho? Is that how you pronounce it? Keitho? If Mekhi Wingo has 5 sacks in his rookie year, that is a immensely productive season. Considering where he was drafted, considering all the knocks on his size, you know what I'm saying? Right on, Keitho. Hey man, if I haven't engaged with you before, make sure you hit like, subscribe to the channel, bro. I I don't know, man. You guys, if you haven't commented on a video before, I don't really know you. So, Detroit fan man, yeah, Wingo's star looks great, but he will be undersized. He's a little bit undersized, and I'm looking for some more lead in the middle of the field, right? Look, dude, I'm right there with you, bro. I like a big fat ass defensive tackle to eat up a lot of space in the middle. I want my running back or my linebackers. I don't want my fucking linebackers to be touched by a single offensive lineman. I want a big fat ass defensive tackle. Give me Big Daddy Dan Wilkerson, right? Give me a Vince Wilfork. I want a big wide ass right in the one gap. You know what I'm saying? Just hunker him right in there, and you just hold that fucking line, right? That's what I need. That's what DJ Reader's supposed to be. Will DJ Reader be ready for week 1? I don't know. Just finding your channel. I always subscribe to. Oh, hey, well, right on, Keitho. I appreciate it, bro. We're small but mighty, trying to grow here. Thank you, brother. And for real, Keitho, I appreciate you hanging out and engaging. He needs to increase his size and his size of his butt muscles. He's a big fat ass. A big fat ass. You know what I'm saying? I do appreciate it though, Keith. I do appreciate you. And Lou Bega, I appreciate you hanging out too, man. You guys are like, for real. I love it. Keep engaging, dude. I love it. This is awesome. Martin's going to be a problem for sure. If he can stay healthy, if he can get healthy. For the bigger parts of the D-line, the better ways to play for linebackers. Very wise. Well, that's how a 3-4 defense is supposed to operate, right? Your big defensive linemen are supposed to eat up blockers and space so that your linebackers can just run free unabated, right? Whereas a 3-4, you're trying to put more pressure on the outside with your outside linebackers who are really just defensive ends with their hands out of the dirt. You know what I'm saying? I like a 4-3 defense. I really, like I said, when we signed DJ Reader, I was so happy because I was like, that is exactly what you need. We've been trying to make Aleem McNeil play the one technique, and even when he was fatter, before he lost all that weight, he didn't have the power to really control the interior of that offensive line. Where DJ Reader, big fat ass, give me a big fat ass, right? Just sit and just get your haunches down in there. Trade for Cortland Sutton next. You think they're going to trade for Cortland Sutton? Josh Prince coming in. Cortland Sutton. Look, man, Cortland Sutton. I think Cortland Sutton is that type of dude who is hyper talented and just never had a guy to get him the ball. Never had the right guy. I think he had a washed up Russ Wilson. I don't know though. Does Sean Payton is he not on board with Cortland Sutton? Is he like make up for that old Benson? Yeah, what are you going to give up to get Cortland Sutton though? You guys, I'm sorry, but I gotta eat real quick here. What do you got to give up to get Cortland Sutton? And why would the Broncos trade him? Doesn't Bo Nix need all the help he can get? Oh, dude. I think Terrell Williams was the biggest signing for the Lions, more so than any free agent. I think bringing in Terrell Williams as our defensive line coach, you will see a full letter grade across the entire defensive line. Wherever people finished last year, they will be a full letter grade higher. And that applies to even Aiden Hutchinson. Draft picks to get him. Yeah, but come on, man. You know Brad Holmes is real stingy with them draft picks, dude. I mean, unless it's a third rounder. So, would you give up a third round pick for Cortland Sutton? Would the Broncos give Cortland Sutton up for a third round pick? Do we have any value in players that we could move out? We do still have one open roster. Terrell Williams is why Aiden will. Dude, yes. Detroit fan man. Third team looking in preseason. Dude, yeah, I agree so. Keitho, yes, I agree so. Okay, Josh Prince, right on. I'm not going to knock it, dude. I'm not going to knock it. I'd trade a third rounder for Cortland Sutton. Oh, he's an ass. Well, yeah, that could be a deterrent as to why we're not going to go after a guy like Sutton. Terrell Williams, big signing. Hang on, let me kind of cycle back this. I'm sorry, fellas. It deletes faster than I have like a fucking 5th grade reading level, so it's hard for me to read this shit. Okay, yeah. So Terrell Williams, I agree with you, Detroit fan man. That's what I wanted to touch on. I also think that Aiden Hutchinson is going to contend for the Defensive Player of the Year because of Terrell Williams and because of the better defensive backs that we have this year. Can I make a real fucking crazy prediction right now for y'all? Aiden Hutchinson sets a single season sack record this year. Why not? I mean, we got to play Sam Darnold twice a year. That's at least 6 sacks right there against the Vikings for Aiden Hutchinson alone. Right? Can Aiden Hutchinson set the single season sack record this year? I think so. You can see it, right? Doesn't it kind of make sense? Maybe not necessarily because of his athleticism, but because of the coverage sacks that we're going to get from just those 2 dogs we got in the first and second round, yo. Terry and Arnold and Enos Rakestraw are very special players. And then we continued to bolster with free agents like Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson. Like, I seen it early on when we drafted Terry and Arnold. And that was the comparison between Terry and Arnold and Jeff Okudah. Had to look it up. His record currently is 20.5. Yeah, okay, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. 17 games, Aiden Hutchinson can get 24 sacks. It's not that. It's especially with DJ Reader eating up some people in the middle. Maybe Marcus Davenport becomes that guy and adds a little bit of pressure. The corners are better. Jack Campbell's going to take a step better, so the coverage around will be better, and Aiden Hutchinson will also be better. So he's entering his 3rd year, right? His 3rd year. So we're starting to he's going to start to ascend into that peakage, right? He's going to, over the next 4 years, he's going to ascend until he's at that peak of his career. So between now and 4 years from now is when Aiden Hutchinson could feasibly set the single season sack record with personal development as well as team development and personnel development with the organization, if that makes sense. So back to my point about Jeff Okudah and Terry and Arnold, right? Terry and Arnold, 1st round pick, Detroit Lions, cornerback, right? Probably, I think you could get Lockett for a 3rd or 4th. But the thing with Lockett is, although he's older and talented, his body build still fits what we already have. You kind of want a little bit more of a big body, which is why we went after Fireball Tim Patrick, right? You want someone in the 6'1 plus range, 6'2 plus 215, you know what I'm saying, poundage. Kind of a bigger body. Pardon me. But, the difference in mentality where the team at is Jeff Okudah was drafted number 3 overall. If Aiden gets 24 sacks this year, he will someday run and win for the God. Dude, if Aiden Hutchinson gets 24 sacks this year, Aiden Hutchinson should run for president in 2028. He'll get Michigan, that's for sure. We're a swing state, so hey, he can at least contend with that. You know what I'm saying? He can go to whatever committee he wants to be like, I guarantee you Michigan will vote for me, and they'll be like, bet, let's go. Goddamn, what was I saying? Oh, the Aiden Hutchinson thing, or the Terry and Arnold is, we drafted Okudah number 3 overall and then expected him to come in and play as a number 1 corner. My mom works with Hutch's dad at the hospital. No shit! Dude, that is pretty freaking cool, man. That is pretty cool. That is pretty awesome, dude. I bet she has heard some pretty cool stories from his dad, dude. That is pretty awesome, man. It's kind of a small world how everything kind of works out like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're what is it, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? That's cool, man. That's pretty cool, dude. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty cool. Maybe eventually she'll get to work with Aiden Hutchinson's sister when she's out of medical school. Woo! Aiden Hutchinson's sister makes me want to go to medical school. God damn! That was in the Thumb Harbor Beach Hospital. Just let him sack Whitler. Now, when you say sack Whitler, do you mean tackle sack her, or do you mean drop his sack in Stretch and Gretchen's face? Because Stretch and Gretchen loves to be teabagged, if you know what I'm saying. But the pressure on Terry and Arnold is a lot different than the pressure was on Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah was expected to come in as the number 3 overall pick and compete as the number 1 corner and match up against the best of the best number 1 wide receivers in the NFL, right? Terry and Arnold drafted in the 1st round, expected with all these high expectations and an immensely high ceiling. That dude's got to come in and scrap it out for the number 3 cornerback spot. You know what I'm saying? He ain't expected to be that, and yet he's ascending. So when the pressure's not on him, he's allowed to produce well. Enos Rakestraw, the pressure's not on you. You're allowed to make a couple mistakes and develop accordingly. You're not pressured into it, man. So I think those 2 guys, as well as Brian Branch continuing to develop and ascend, I think you'll see a huge Big Hutch over Big Gretch. Yes, Ryan Allen. Hell yeah, Big Hutch over Big Gretch. Let's go, dude. Big old Stretch and Gretchen. God damn. All right, where do we leave off at? D-line? Boy, y'all boys got me off on a tangent over here. All right, so the D-line, I kind of let you know where I felt about Houston, and we got a little fanboy over Hayden Hutchinson hitting 24 sacks this year. No problem, mark it down. Remember the guys were going to kidnap her? They got raided by the cousin's house in Bad Axe. Oh, no shit. Dude, Dorsey did have a good camp, too, and he got cut. That's crazy. You mean all of those feds that were trying to say that they were Michigan residents to kidnap Stretch and Gretchen? They were all feds. That was staged. They're feds. Come on, man. They were all feds. That's crazy, though, dude. Bro, you live a very exciting life, man. You just got like all kinds of stories, my guy. That's dope. The linebacker room, no surprises there. We pretty much kept, Barnes, Rodrigo, Campbell, obviously Anzalone, Germ. We kept Germ. He played great in the preseason. Then we also kept Neiman, who I thought played really, really well in the preseason. I thought he buckled down and was able to step up in plays. Will be a big-time special teams producer, especially because Rodrigo's a little nicked up. I expect Neiman to kind of fill in for Rodrigo a little bit. Yep, the feds were involved, but the guys who got in trouble came from. See? It was all up. See? Fucking see? God, bro, see, it's like shit like that. I gotta be careful what I say because I'll get kicked off of YouTube if I say too many damn things because let's just say I've been right about everything for the past like 6 years. The COVID, the elections. It's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. Everything's fake, dude. Everything's fake. Nothing. The food we eat's fucking fake. The news we consume's fucking fake. The kickoff rules are fucking stupid in the NFL now. I'm just gotta stop. Yeah. Dude, fuck the roster cuts for a second. Dude, the NFL kickoff rules are so fucking lame, dude. Like, for real. What the fuck, man? What has happened in the NFL? Why is it so goddamn soft, dude? Remember when football was like a man's sport? Make football violent again. Two things I've been saying all year. Make football violent again. Make fullbacks great again. Bring back the full... You can see a trend in the NFL. With almost the extinction of the fullback, you have seen a drop-off in the violent nature of the NFL. We have shifted. We have made the NFL so fucking soft, dude, that teams don't even need a fullback, right? What the fuck, man? What about guys like Corey Schlesinger? What about guys like Mike Allstott or Lorenzo Neal, man? Ball players. Ball players whose job it was to go out there and punch a motherfucker in the face, right? That was their whole job, was to be a human wrecking ball, right? And we've just neutered the sport. We've just neutered every fucking aspect of it, man. That even fullbacks aren't welcome in today's NFL. And these lame ass kickoff rules. COVID, haha. I'm the company I work for. I will sue the fuck out of them. They forced me to get the job. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, bro. My DNA's intact. I'm not. This body's unvaxxed, baby. Let's go. Yo, before the COVID thing, I wasn't really that guy. Now, yo, I wear cotton shirts. I don't have fucking plastic containers. I am crunchy as a motherfucker now, dude, for real. And if I tell you one thing, you know what kept me from not getting sick this whole damn COVID time? Eating pounds of garlic, dude. I eat pounds of raw garlic like a fucking savage. Eat raw garlic, eat red meat, do some fucking push-ups, pray to fucking Jesus. You'll be fine, all right? It's real simple. It's real fucking simple. Life is not as complicated as people want. Like I say, push-ups, red meat, garlic, Jesus. Bam. It's pretty simple. All right. DBs. All right. So this is the DBs. But do you see the hip drop penalties yet? Might be first. I think the hip drop tackle, although I can see the benefits of the hip drop tackle penalty, right? Because there are the one-off occasions where guys did have pretty significant injuries thanks to fluke bends. Fluke bends in like how their knees came down, right? Now, I live my life by the expectation of, look, dude, you're a professional athlete, man. There are certain risks that you take with your body when you are getting paid to play a fucking game. All right? The hip drop tackle's one of them, dude. Like, here's the thing, man. My shoulder's fucking hurt. This shoulder is a trash can. It doesn't look like it, but this is actually a trash can. I put this shoulder down at the end of the road every fucking week, and Granger comes by and picks it up and takes it to the landfill because this shoulder is a fucking trash can, right? But here the fuck I am at work, motherfucker. There ain't no leeway for me. There ain't no 6 fucking weeks where I can just go in and get an injection and sit at home and walk around at work in my hoodies. First team to get that penalty, probably. You're right. Make a rule to get rid of the turf. Dude, yes. Actually, that was actually what I was getting to. Hang on. Keitho, my guy, my dude, you were a huge supporter today. That was actually going to be my point. Is you take on a certain responsibility and expectations of being injured when you become a professional athlete, and it's not my fault that you didn't invest your money properly, right? But if you're gonna make the hip drop tackle illegal, then you gotta fucking make the turf monster that destroyed Aaron Rodgers' Achilles illegal. You have to regulate the fucking field. You need to regulate and standardize. You have to just flat out say, all right, here is the cold weather hemisphere line. And if you're playing outdoors, if you're playing outdoors or indoors, you either have to have grass engineered, designed, and maintained for your zone or the southern zone. You know what I'm saying? Or you just have to go with, I mean, I hate to say like AstroTurf like back in the day, but like, you know, there is no reason why these warm weather stadiums like Arizona, that whole field runs on train rails in and out of the stadium. I don't know if you guys know this about Arizona. It's a fucking desert and there's not a lot of fucking water there, right? But yet, by golly jeepers, they're able to grow grass for the fucking professional stadium. Isn't that odd? So if they're able to do it in Arizona, why can't they do it in fucking New York or in Chicago or in Detroit or in Florida? You know what I'm saying? Standardize it. So if I completely agree, Keitho, my guy, I completely agree with you on that statement. If you're gonna make the hip drop tackle illegal because of injuries and you're protecting player safety, then you have to then regulate the grass. You know what I'm saying? Because that is also a major contributing factor to career-changing injuries. You know what I'm saying? But trump card on all of that, my opinion is you pick to play the game, man. If you don't want to play the game, if you don't want to get hurt, then fucking go be an accountant. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain responsibilities, there are certain things that we all take on in our day-to-day lives that we just have to deal with, right? Like, and being an athlete, getting hurt in a tackle, I don't know, banging your head up, getting concussed, those are all things that could happen, man. These are all things that could happen. All right, so the DB room, one player I was kind of hoping we would keep around was Stephon Gilmore. We ended up cutting Stephon Gilmore. He keeps doing this thing in preseason where he'll have a couple of good plays or a good series or two, and then he'll just fuck up colossally, right? I hope to see him brought back onto the practice squad. But the big name that I was happy to see stick around was I kept watching him all preseason. This cat just kept jumping off the screen at me, dude. You guys know what I'm talking about. Number 40, Brandon Joseph. The guy just jumps off the screen. He's a ball player. What do you want? He's a ball player. The guy knows how to ball. You got to keep him, right? He's not expected to be a starter, right? That's when we got Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. And when Ife Melifonwu gets this nagging injury cleared up, that's what we got. You know, Brandon Joseph doesn't need to be a starter, but he needs to be a contributing member, right? Could he be a starter on another team? Probably. Based on what I've seen in the preseason. No, it's preseason. Can't really, you know, do everything on preseason. But, you know, like it, I liked what I seen out of the guy against preseason opponents. All right? He's a ball player. Brendan Joseph, Hesse, Isaiah Williams, these guys, they just ball. They just go out there and they just put their fucking nuts on the field, right? They just go out there and they just fucking play ball. And that's what you want to see. I don't need divas. I don't need personalities. I don't need flash, right? I need ball players. I need guys who are going to go out there, sacrifice their body, play smart, and get the fucking job done. And Brendan Joseph does that. He earned this spot. I thought it was going to be CJ Moore, right? Coming back off of suspension from gambling, right? Missed all last year because of suspension. I thought CJ Moore was going to get it. I thought he had a little bit bigger of a body. He could stick a lick on a motherfucker, right? He could drop a motherfucker. He's been playing for a while. Cerebral, right? Athletic. And he's been in-house longer. I kind of view Brad Holmes as a guy who has a lot of camaraderie and gives a lot of respect to players who have put in their time. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of thought CJ Moore was going to be that cat. And when it ended up being Brandon Joseph, I was so happy. I was so happy when I see Brandon Joseph made the roster, guys. That really, really, like, I was like, that is a ball player. Him and Isaiah Williams, dude. If we could have just kept Akuwu, I would have just been like, 1, 2, 3, boom, let's go. Let's go, ball players. All right, so DBs, we kept Joseph. Stephon Gilmore didn't make it, and that's kind of a bummer. But that's neither here nor there. He could probably make it back to the practice squad. But you never know. Maybe another team will pick him up. And that brings us to, last and not least, special teams. So, well, I have not eaten very much of my dinner. I've just been... You guys got me going tonight, man. Y'all got me going tonight. For real. Shout out to y'all. I for real appreciate you all coming in here and hanging out like this. Come on, guys. That's awesome. Give yourselves a like. Yeah, give yourselves a like, dude. For real. This is awesome. I appreciate you guys hanging out. This is awesome, man. You guys are making my night. We will be getting out here pretty soon. Gonna talk about special teams real quick, all right? Hell yeah, 7 people, 5 likes. Man, you guys are awesome, dude. For real. And I'm not just saying that to sound like some fucking douchebag YouTuber, man. Like, this is really super flattering. Like, thank you so much. This is awesome. You guys are great. And for real, Keitho, Lou Bega, Detroit fan, man. OG's up in here keeping this chat alive. For real. For real. MVPs tonight. MVPs tonight, you three. For real. Thank you for keeping that conversation, for keeping this going. I really, really appreciate that with you guys. This is awesome. And special teams. So special teams, obviously Jack Fox, he's going to make the roster. There was no question about that. He's the best punter in the entire NFL. There was some questions about Jake Bates, right? The ballad of Jake Bates, former Michigan Panthers kicker. I watched him. I love the UFL, right? I watched him in the UFL. I knew I was deep downly hoping that we were able to get Jake Bates. Like, ever since I watched him kick that big field goal week 1 in the UFL, I was like, man, let's go after this guy, right? Nothing against Badgley, but Badgley ain't got that leg, man. He just doesn't have the leg. He never did. And then he fluke injury tore his hamstring, and it paved the way for Jake Bates. He missed a field goal, he missed 1 extra point. But what I think Jake Bates does is Jake Bates gives Dan Campbell's got this thing where he's got to have the field broken down into zones, because we all know he likes to go for it on 4th down, right? And I feel like those 45-plus yard field goals, he knew Badgley didn't have the leg, so he would go for it more often than not. Oh, roll the dice, Dan Campbell, Dan Gamble, you know, all this stuff. What I think Jake Bates brings is, within a certain yard line, Dan Campbell's just going to go for it. But when you're in that 45 to 50-yard field goal range, and he's just kind of wiggling there, you don't really want to go for it, but fuck, you don't have the kicker with the leg. Now you have the kicker with the leg. Now you got the kicker with the fucking leg, right? Now you have the confidence in toddling Jake Bates out there and letting him just fucking smoke that sumbitch, right? Yeah, he might miss it, but whatever. At least he fucking swung at it. At least you know you had a puncher's chance with Jake Bates, right? And I think Jake Bates will continue to develop. He'll hone in his accuracy. He'll sharpen and polish down the edges a little bit. I don't have any worries about Jake Bates. I'm really glad to see him make the active roster. I think he is at least locked in this whole season as our kicker, barring at some type of catastrophic failure. But I think Jake Bates can be solid this year. He can be a kicker for 3-5 years maybe. I compare him kind of to a Matt Prater, right? That, you know, big leg guy. You know what I'm saying? So I hope Jake Bates, I hope he has a great season. The special teams room, though, we did cut longtime long snapper Scott Daly, right? He's been here for quite a while. He took over right after Don Muehlbach retired. We had Scott Daly. I think he's Scottish. Was our long snapper for the last couple of years and did a good job. We ended up parting ways with Scott Daly, and we ended up keeping Hogan Hayton, right? I think that's awesome. The guy is a long snapper, but he can play defense. And I don't mean like in a pinch, you can have your punter come in and be an emergency quarterback. There's no emergency on this guy's role. He's a football player who happens to be a long snapper. Does that make sense? Like his contributions both on the special teams room, both in snapping and his tackling and coverage ability, has athleticism to get down the field, exceeded that of Scott Daly. I think this is a really clever, really smooth, buttery move made by the front office of the Detroit Lions. I actually like this because similar to the tight ends and the defensive ends, I think that Brad Holmes looks for guys who bring multifaceted dimensions to the game, and Hogan Hatton had 2 or 3 tricks in his bag where Scott Daly just had the one. You know what I'm saying? So I think Hogan Hayton definitely earned this spot. He's got a twin brother in the league. I can't remember where or what position he plays, but I remember a little blurb about that. So there you go. Those were the roster moves. Today was the big cut day, and was it Lou Bega that you announced? You broke the news to us that Lions are going after Fireball Tim Patrick, bringing a big body wide receiver. That's awesome. That's what we like to see. So that's going to pretty much do it for tonight, guys. Do you like these lunchtime live streams? I'm kind of having fun doing it. This wasn't bad, right? It was fun hanging out with you guys. Shout out to the MVPs tonight for keeping the chat going. Shout out to y'all for being in the Lions fandom, dude. This is awesome. It's shaping up to be a great year. Our jerseys are dope. Why not? Let's just go ahead and plan on doing this tomorrow night. All right? Let's just go ahead and plan on doing this tomorrow night. Kind of an unofficial type deal. We're just going to kind of hang out on my lunch break here and just kind of shoot the shit. And we'll go from there. So, fellas, I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Thanks for sticking around. I do appreciate it. Have yourself a good rest of the night. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Keep your stick on the ice. If she doesn't find you handsome, at least she'll find you handy. And frig off. All right, guys. Have a good night. Oh, come on. Why can't I ever figure this out? Boom. There we go.